Hi guys and gals, it's Pete, Mindwiseman's channel, aka Maverick Outdoors, and due to totally unexpected and unforeseen circumstances I was unable to do my 2-day trek and wild camp on the Black Mountains and Brecon Beacons in South Wales in the United Kingdom. So what I did instead, I was able to travel down there. I drove a 150-mile journey from where I live and drove to the Brecon Beacons and spent the day trekking, scrambling and hiking over part of the Brecon Beacons for about 5.5–6 hours. So the Brecon Beacons and Black Mountains are designated as a national park and they're visited by thousands of people every year. But they are also used as a training ground, an exercise ground for the SAS and the paratroop regiment. So you can imagine you sort of have to be sort of aware of your bearings, have sort of navigational skills, considering as are all high ground hills and mountains prone to change of weather, totally unpredictable than say in lower levels of terra firma. So in good weather during the spring and summer months there's fantastic views to be seen, even in sometimes the winter and autumn months. But of course you're going to be prone to more adverse weather conditions, and I was when I did my trek. But I'll leave that for you to see part of it in the actual trekking and scrambling video that I did. But prior to that, I'm going to present this in 2 parts because recently I've had requests about my kit, my rucksacks, the bags I use when I go trekking, hiking and especially wild camping and canoeing and that sort of thing. So what I decided to do was present basically just a brief spec on the kit that I took that was relevant for the amount of time I was going to be trekking, hiking and scrambling for the day, and also how I packed my kit. So at least it's in reply to a number of people that, especially over recent months, have asked me about how I've packed my kit, and also just to give you ideas of my angle on it as well at the same time. So I've divided it into 2 parts. The kit, some of the stuff I kept in the boot of the car, everything that was relevant for a 24-hour period of me travelling to the Brecon Beacons, also then trekking and having the leisurely time and the activity of why I was there and what I was going to do there, and then of course the journey home, because in South Wales the weather can change, and considering I was going actually into a valley type area which is quite prone to being blocked off if it snows or there's really bad weather conditions, it's not like being in an open terrain town or suburban area. So I wanted to be prepared for that if there was a problem that arose. So the first part will be the kit and my approach to doing the trek and doing the scramble, and then the second part, which I hope you'll watch both parts, will be me actually doing the trek and the route that I took. So I hope you enjoy it, watch both parts, and I hope it's all of interest. So besides other bits of kit that I always keep in my car at all times, this is the extra little bit of kit I took with me, so in case of any adverse weather conditions or any emergencies over a 24-hour period in transit in the car, taking this with me. Windshield for the butane propane gas container cooker, MSR pocket rocket unscrews, that reseals, and this folds up and goes into that little red box. Kettle and saucepan in here, stainless steel. You'd have seen those featured in wild camping, cooking on the common one-man stove or campfire cooking. Same kettle and saucepan in there. 2 litres of water, bit of thermal clothing, softy jacket, softy trousers. Again, you'd have seen those featured in wild camping videos. And it's just an extra torch, wind up torch. Crampon type anti-slip spikes. So you just wrap those around the top of your shoe, and imagine my hand is the shoe, and of course the spikes are underneath the sole. So a pair of those in case the surface conditions change with snow and ice, so you're safe and you don't slip if you have to walk around for any reason. Biscuits, pre-cooked rice. Again, this is all high in calories. For 24 hours, just simple food. I could have taken loads of elaborate stuff which you'd have seen on the wild camping videos with lots of different recipes, but I just wanted simple stuff as a last resort. So I know this is going to keep me going from previous experience for 24 hours. Powdered milk, tea bags and sugar would have been in there. So basically just an extra little bit of kit. So if I did get stuck for any emergency reason over a 24-hour period whilst out in transit in the car, I know this is going to do me for 24 hours until I get home. So the rucksack that I use for the day's trek is a Milcom Airjet 25 litre, zip pouch on the top, clip straps, webbing at the front, pouch either side, so it's 25 litre, so there's enough space to carry all the kit I needed and wanted to take with me. Bit of high-vis material attached to what's known as the ice pick loop strap there on the webbing, and the air jet system is based on the principle that you've got this sort of spongified shaped to your back contour sort of shape design here on the back to assist the breathability of your back. So obviously you've got that in close contact, and when you're perspiring it just makes it easier for it to wick any moisture away from your body. It's got a pull carry loop at the bottom here, so if you need to tug it, you've got that utility. You've also got 4 little D-rings on part of the webbing, one either side on the same level, and then one either side slightly lower down. This one I've fastened my small belt clip knife, which I've threaded through. It's nice and secure in there, keeping it on the outside of the bag if I need it for easy access, and keeping the blade securely in place. Just got some Ranger band rubber in a tube, which also can be cut and used and utilised if necessary for any other uses. And then of course the webbing straps tighten it up. It's got a little bit of webbing on the top, as you can see, a little bit of daisy chain type effect, and another pull support holding loop at the top as well. But what I'll do is I'll now show you how I positioned all the items and packed the rucksack. Okay, if you imagine the kit is set out in the shape and format of the rucksack, so on the top lid pouch contained the Ordnance Survey map, compass, map pouch, waterproof to protect it from the elements, high-vis flag for emergencies, and then my Mora 510 knife. That's been reviewed in other videos, so if you've seen that you'll know the spec on that knife. So that was all in the top pouch. The side pouch, one of the side pouches, first aid kit, space thermal blanket, and then on the other side pouch, 10 by 25 binoculars, small LED torch, and then my large head torch, which I use for canoeing on the waters, which needs a very bright beam, so more than just your normal trekking down a path type head torch. I took that with me as well. And if you imagine the main section here, waterproof jacket, waterproof trousers just underneath there, thermal water resistant gloves, and then just below that is a lightweight jacket, really good thermal qualities and also wicking properties as well, and it's part of an NBC suit, which is nuclear biological chemical warfare suit, and I process this and I use it for outdoor activities, so I took this for an extra layer. I'll give you the spec on that a little bit more in a moment. And then just below that, Possibles pouch. I'll open that and show you the spec of the bits and pieces in there in a mo. Biscuits to go with half a litre of hot tea, and then some hot food in just over a litre flask, which contained some pre-cooked, so I just had to heat it up really nice and hot, stewed steak, and then added that to some potato and beef type soup, and then also added some of my extra spice with it, and that was all in there. And then connected to the side of the rucksack around the waist strap was a litre of water, so I always got access to drink water as and when needing on the trek and trail. And then for emergencies, or if I just did want to set up a bivvy, a poly tarp which is 2 metres by 3 metres, and inside it are some sectional poles. There's 6 of these, which in total measure just under 2 metres. So I can make just under, using 3 of these, one on top of the other, one either end of the shelter, making an A shape, low profile in stormy conditions or emergency situation. I've got that, alley pegs and a hank of paracord to use and utilise with the tarp set up, or just to use as extra emergency stuff anyway, and we all know what that can be used for. So that's the format of how I set out the kit, and I'll just itemise a few more things now. Okay, small utility pouch, keyring fastener there if I need to attach anything to it, a little mesh pouch on the outside. Then on the reverse you can see a little flap which can be attached to webbing or your belt. That clips and fastens, but I kept this internally in the rucksack. And then inside, high-vis material, so you can see what's in there quite clearly. A little zip pouch, which I placed money and ID when in the back part of the pouch. And then the main part, battery for my phone, battery for the digital camera, batteries, extra batteries for the small LED black torch, and then 3 extra batteries for the head torch, cigarette lighter, little basic multi-tool, flint fire steel, small torch, and a whistle, nice and loud, a little bit of tinder if necessary, and always carry some red tape if I need to make markers to trace my way back, but obviously this would be in different sort of terrain, in sort of woodland or different sort of varied type of vegetation and foliage that you might want to fix this onto, but I took it anyway. As with a lot of this, as you know, this is more sort of survival fire making stuff, but where I was, this most probably would not have been appropriate, but if I'd have gone down to different terrain for any emergency reason, then of course at least I've got this stuff and it was easy to carry. Couple of extra items that I carried close at hand in the pocket of my second base layer fleece jacket pocket. Microfiber, small towel, just sort of wipe perspiration and sort of dry yourself off if you get wet from the rain and the elements. Shemag scarf, multi-use of that. Paracord bracelet with a whistle on the buckle, and just a little nibble, a snack bar in the pocket. So just carried that so I had easy access to it. And then my third layer jacket, NBC jacket, which I'll open out and show you just some of the spec on it. I'll just go into a brief spec. I mean, as I say, it's an NBC suit, part of the top part, which would obviously go over military clothing and main clothing as a protective surface for either nuclear, biological or chemical warfare or that sort of situation. But I acquired this suit. I've got trousers to it as well, but what I did, I actually washed it a number of times to get rid of this sort of lining. This was actually jet black and it's impregnated with charcoal, but I'll go into that maybe in another review with this type of suit at a later date. It's got a zipper, velcro fastening at the front. It's got a small pocket at the side, really strong velcro flap. It's got 2 chest pockets. It's got velcro at the wrists, but considering this would be going over a protective gas mask or the like, it had a different shape and it was quite a sort of, it came right up as if you had an egghead. And what I did was I snipped some of it, cut some of it back, and then stitched a peak on the sewing machine. So I've sort of improvised that to make it a little bit more trekking, daily activity type wear. But this has got absolutely brilliant wicking qualities. It really is a good protection against the wind. It's not that waterproof, but it does dry out really quickly if you do get caught out before you're able to get your waterproofs on. But I like this jacket, I use it quite a lot, and I did actually use it up on the trek.